Thank you guys so much for having patience with me. I know it's been a very long time since I've done the reading, and I apologize. Now, this is chapter 5. I'm going to try and get right to it. I do apologize if the audio sounds off or different. I'm currently sitting in the bathtub because why not record while I enjoy a hot bath of lavender and honey? As you can hear the water. So I'm going to start reading chapter 5. So I really hope you guys enjoy this. I hear this is really good. So chapter 5 and I didn't expect her to do this. She has always nagged me about the pink hair. So why is she dyeing it again? I watched as she lifts her freshly dyed strands of hair out of the sink. Rubbing her head down with a towel, looks like I'll be buying new towels. Are you sure you want to dye it back to pink again? You'll have to wait another few years if you want to get rid of it. It's fine. I've grown attached to it. Oh, so now you like it. Oh, be quiet. I see it as a new me, without all the stealing and whatnot. Wow, I didn't take you as one for symbolism, with all the unstable hormones and whatnot. Maeve turns and points her finger at me. Hey, I said. I grab her head and squish her cheeks together, picking apart her flaws by pretending to be her own consciousness. Oh, I also decided that I'd start painting my nails pink because it matches my pretty hair. Oh yeah, and I can't possibly forget to wear the exact same hairband Ethan gave me every day because I have to copy everything he does down to the letter, even though I don't actually have enough hair to really justify wearing one in the first place. I guess I'll just start throwing a tantrum whenever I don't get my way, not because of my anger issues, but because I have the mindset of a child. Maeve's face flusters up in embarrassment, which shortly after shifts into blunt anger. I hear her French accent under her breath. She knocks my hands away and reaches her hands out as if to strangle me. You know what? I stand there and chuckle. She's not saying anything because she knows if she does, I win. She begins to stomp out of the bathroom and into her bedroom. I guess it's a draw then. Speaking of hormones, did you read the books I gave you? I follow after her. She spits out in a sarcastic tone of voice, clearly still aggravated about her inability to defeat me in a battle of wits. She's catching up to me, though. She's quick with her comebacks, that's for sure. Oh yes, the knowledge you so willingly disposed onto me instead of telling me. What's with the sass today? I don't know, maybe it's because I've learned that every month of my agony is caused by the necessity of the next generation. I don't even want a kid. I'm pretty sure if I did, I'd die. She quickly moves her hands up and down at her sides, highlighting her short figure. This? Too small. I burst out laughing. So that's what has her so agitated. Well, I suppose it may have been better for me to directly talk to her about the topic, but she's old enough to study and understand the topic by herself. I can't hold her hand through everything until the day I die. She'd likely end up becoming too reliant. You've gained a lot of confidence these past few years. Probably because A, I now know what I'm saying, and B, I've taken it up from you, so you have no one to blame. She puts her finger on my chest. But yourself. She turns and walks away to her desk, putting away one of the two books. It just means I did a good job. Maeve finishes and turns towards me with a slight smile. Yes, you did. I watch her set the last book into place. You want anything for your birthday? 18 is a pretty big year. Oh, this confirms that Maeve is legal. I didn't say that. You didn't hear it from Victoria. I've said this once and I'll say it again. I don't want any stupid presents. You've already given me a life to live, and that's more than enough for me. A big grin stretches across my face. Scroll down, god dang it. Thank you. Aw, look at you getting all sentimental. Maeve puts her hand over her face in a moment of annoyance. Can you just take me seriously for once? It's not my fault you're stuck at the height of a child. You've grown a colossal 3 inches, just short of 4.5 feet. Wow, record breaking. Blame your genetics, not me. I mean, you could say it's a tall order. Oh my god, scroll down. Click, click, click. I hate you. Taking a step towards the door, I wipe a tear away with a sigh. I'll be downstairs. It's about time for me to open up, so don't disturb the patients. I know. I nod, closing the door behind me. I can't believe she's almost 18 already. Seems like yesterday when I found her. Back then, she was more comparable to a rabid cat than a person. Is that too harsh? It's accurate. As I head to the bottom of the stairs, I jump from the sudden banging at the door. It booms like a cannon. Oh, this is the stupid word again. Reverberating throughout the house. A voice screams out behind it. Open the door! Now! I begin spinning towards the door. My son. Grabbing the knob, I swing it open and find a large man holding a young boy in his arms. The man is obviously a noble, wearing the usual white outfit outlined with small stripes of red along his cuffs and shoulders. He pushes me aside and enters without asking. Doctor, my son shot himself while messing with my gun. I told him not to play with it, but he just doesn't listen. I spot the wound in the boy's arm. He's bleeding profusely. I try not to show my disapproval at the lack of attempt to put pressure on the wound. Unless the patient's heart has stopped, the first priority is always to stop the bleeding, and he has failed to do so. I don't have time to ridicule him, not that I think he would care to listen. I have to stop the bleeding first. All right, bring him in here. I lead him to the emergency room near the front door. The noble sets him on the large white bed. I begin putting on some gloves while assessing the boy's situation. First, I'll need some rags to stop the bleeding. As I reach to grab some, the mobile begins screaming at me. His voice traverses throughout the house. Why are you taking so long just looking at him? Just heal him. I know you have an ability to heal. That's why I brought him here. Yes, I do have that kind of ability, but I have to make sure the bones and muscle tissues are set in the right place so it doesn't heal wrong. I attempt to calm him down, but after a few exchanges, he doesn't seem to be letting up. I do my best to try and keep my focus through the ordeal as best I can, but it begins to wear on me. What's going on? I look up and gaze past the noble to see Maeve standing in the doorway. She must have heard the screaming. Her being here is the last thing I need. I don't need her throwing any sass around. Maeve, now is not the time. Who is she? Sir, there's no need to scream. Doctor, I shall speak in whatever manner I please. I watch Maeve grab the man's arm and attempt to calm him. Sir, I think it would be best for you to. He swats his arm off her. He swats his, I thought it was her arm on him. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Unhand me, you incompetent child. My heart drops. For a moment, I expect her to go off on any tangent, but she surprises me. Maeve looks up at him. In the calmest voice, she says, Sir, with all due respect, it would be best if you left the room to let Dr. Eastwood focus on doing his job. The noble bites his lips and leaves the room without even back-talking. I'm shocked. I didn't expect her to handle that situation so well. I was going to ask for the noble to hold the cloth for me, but there's a far better option that has been given to me. Maeve, I need you to come over here and hold this cloth for me. Make sure you keep pressure on it. The noble sharply turns around and jabs a finger in her direction. Why are you asking her to do that and not me? Suddenly, I see the opportunity. Because she's my assistant. It's important to remain calm in these types of situations. You, being a family member, would naturally have increased risk of doing something rash. Maeve turns around and looks at him through the doorway with a smile. You just wait there. She slams the door in his face. I'm your assistant? Oopsie, too far. I think. Oop, okay. You are now. Here, hold this. I'm going to heal his arm at the point where the bleeding will stop. She takes hold of the cloth, and I begin sealing up the wound. I'll do surgery and relocate the bone later. I need to deal with the other issue. Other issue? He's struggling to breathe. See his chest? It's expanding horizontally. Flail chest, a section of his ribs has detached. Air is building up in his chest cavity, and soon his lungs will collapse. He said the boy shot himself in the arm, but that doesn't explain this. I reach a hand out. Maeve, give me a needle from the top right drawer, the long one. Maeve walks over to the drawer. She looks and fidgets through the metal pins, picking one out and handing it over in suit. Like this? I immediately take it from her hand and insert it into the boy's chest cavity in one fast and sharp motion. Air trickles out of the needle, making a light hissing sound. I'm going to give the boy an IV. Make sure his blood levels are good. Once they're stable, I can begin surgery. So while the IV does its thing, I'm going to ask our noble some questions. About a half hour, I bring my attention outside the emergency room as I sit next to Maeve in the living room across from the noble. I begin asking questions because right now there's something that isn't sitting right with me and I need some answers. Sir Mandolin, is that how you pronounce your name? Yes. And your son is? Arthur. Alright, well, I'm performing surgery soon to fix your son's broken arm, but I notice he has sustained quite an impact to his left chest. His ribs were broken, detached. Did he happen to fall off something? Ah, yes, he fell off our second floor balcony after the gun went off. He took quite a stumble. He fell off the balcony? Huh, the injury looks more like something caused by a blunt object like a bat or a cane. Ah, is that so? Also, the bullet entered the backside of his arm. If he had shot himself, it would have entered through the front. Doctor, are you suggesting that I shot my son? I'm just stating the facts, Sir Mandolin. You just so happened to come to that conclusion on your own. You also said you brought him here because the hospital is too far away, but it's no more than 2 blocks down in Central Park. Given that you're a noble, you would have likely been closer to there than here. Perhaps you're bringing him here to avoid the authorities and save your reputation? Besides, hardly anyone comes here to have surgery done. Well, maybe nobody comes here for surgery because you killed 2 good men, right? Maeve looks over to me with a saddened, worried look. I take a moment to process. I don't think that has anything to do with the current issue in question. Well, to answer your question, I did not harm the boy. End of discussion. Fine, it doesn't matter to me either way. My primary concern is to ensure the boy's safety and well-being. I'll watch over his recovery. You can choose to stay here or leave. It's up to you. I'm sure you must have more important matters elsewhere as a noble, so if you need to be somewhere else, don't worry. Your son will be fine. He's in good care. Yes, I'll be on my way. Thank you, doctor. I'll leave your pay on the counter. You can keep the change. No need to thank me. It's just what I do. I watch as Mandolin walks over to the kitchen counter and leaves his pay. He doesn't even say goodbye as he leaves the house. Ethan, did you actually kill 2 people? My immediate attention is brought to Maeve. I lead with a heavy sigh. I didn't kill them, not on purpose. They were volunteers on an experiment I was conducting, and it went south, that's all. I just backed Mandolin into a corner, so he went for a low blow. Don't worry about it. She lowers her head slightly, seemingly discouraged from me dropping the question. All right. I'll tell her one day, but right now, I have work to do. Well, I'll gotta start performing surgery. You stay here and I want to help. For a moment, I am left speechless, not sure how to respond. I'm sorry, what? You want to help? I'm just tired of watching you work your ass off while I sit here and do nothing. I want to try and pick up nursing. My eyes open in surprise. I didn't expect this at all. I'm sure you could use a hand around the place. Don't act like you don't. I've been around long enough to know. So you want to be an intern? Are you sure? It's long hours with no days off and no pay. You think I care about money? Says the thief. Says the virgin. Says the child. Fuck you. I laugh. I suppose it wouldn't hurt. I wander off back into the emergency room and come back out with a blue scrub and mask, tossing them both to Maeve. All right, put those on. Come on, we got work to do. The most you'll be doing is passing utensils to me, so don't stress over it too much. You'll mostly be watching today. I watch Maeve as she tries to put on the mask and the scrubs. I comfort her. I can commend her effort, but as she approaches me in preparation for this lengthy operation, there's a problem. You're putting it on inside out. And like that, we begin. Funny story. The job I have, I actually wear scrubs, and you'd be surprised how easy it is to mix match the inside of a gray scrub to the outside. Besides the pockets, it's really hard to tell. A few hours pass. Maeve sits next to the still unconscious Arthur. She handled the operation fairly well. I suppose it makes sense that she wouldn't be squeamish at the sight of open wounds or blood, given her past. All right, well, he's stable and everything's back to where it should be, so that's good. Maeve doesn't say anything. Speaking of good, you did great. Maeve? Why does it always turn out like this? Why does karma never strike the people who deserve it? We have to do something. We can't just let this go on. I mean, it's obvious he did it. You pointed it out yourself. Even if I filed out a report, it's not going to do anything. He's a noble. He has a far higher ranking than I do. Nothing I say will get anywhere. My job is to heal those who are suffering from a tragedy and help them continue to live their lives. It's not like to serve justice to those who got who got them there. Justice doesn't always prevail as much as it's told in fairy tales and novels. Reality is, well, a harsh reality. The sooner you come to terms with that, the better off you'll be when coping with it. Trust me, I'm not happy about it either, but please try to understand. Okay. I'll start your training tomorrow morning. You can stay with Arthur for the rest of the night if you'd want to. I think I'll do that. All right, well, I'm off to bed. Wake me up if anything changes. Good night, Ethan. Good night. I shut the door and head off to my room. I guess it's her first experience of injustice in quite a while, except this time it's relatable to her. She's probably feeling what I felt back then. Looking at someone who has been battered and bruised by the life they were given, yet powerless to change it. It's not pity, it's empathy. Aw, that was adorable! Oh my god, okay. So I really like how he wrote her in to be a very caring character after given the backstory that we had of her kind of being that thief and not really caring about anybody else but herself. But I'm kind of intrigued to learn about how she becomes the person she is in the game Paladins, where she's sarcastic with her comebacks, she's annoyed, she's kind of cocky when it comes to some of her lines, so I can't wait to see how that turns out. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I apologize again that it took so long. I'll try and get chapter 6 out within a week. If I don't do that, I'm sorry, but I will try. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.